Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of First Impressions on the Scratch a Track podcast, presented by the Dude and Grim Show. I am the Dude.
And I'm Grim, and we are going to give our first impressions, our initial first impressions, however you want to say it, of the album Spiral by the band Darkside.
Darkside of the Spiral, man. Darkside.
Yeah, of course, recommended to us by co-producer, friend of the show, Forrest.
Basically co-creator at this point.
Yeah, most certainly. Man,
it just looks too good. That's why.
Trippy album,
dude. When I first put this on, I was like, "Is this am I like joining up to be a part of some sort of like religious cult?" Or
apparently the album comes with a free haircut.
It does, yeah. It was the first couple of tracks, I did not know what to make of it. And it is very, there's a lot of almost like, I don't know if it's like chanting, but it kind of is. It's like, I don't know, what do you say, monkish? But after I listened,
kind of like new age. It's like, it's sometimes in that first track, I thought it was like Dark Anya.
Yes. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But I will say, after listening to the whole album all the way through, the two bands that I really equated it to, and hopefully we got some fans of both of these bands listening because you've liked a lot of our stuff before, but partially a very subdued, toned down King Gizzard. It just it had sort of some of that feel to it, but without the, kind of intensity. There was really no intensity throughout. This is a very chill album, but then also sort of the atmospheric tones of the Flaming Lips.
Especially in some of their like later stuff.
With the weird sounds,
like Oaksy melody, and as they get into some of those and the Terror that goes into some weird places too. Definitely. I agree with that. When you said that, I kind of initially, I thought it was going to be sort of a mix of Pink Floyd and Nine Inch Nails based on the title of the band and album. But it was really not that at all. No. But it was interesting. It's called electronic is how it's kind of presented as a genre. But there's a use of a lot of acoustic instruments in there, which I thought was interesting because I always equate electronic music with almost exclusively drum machine type beats and all synthesizer. And this is not necessarily that. There is guitar in it. And I think it's more electronic in the way it's just sort of chopped up. And
yeah, I think so. Well, and I hadn't really heard of these guys or known much about them, and I don't know if you did any homework or research on it, but dude, they did a remix of Random Access Memories called Random Access Memories.
Yeah, I already like them because
it's like Inception, man. It's like a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. I could just keep going.
Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr.
Jr. But I thought, I haven't listened to that. That would be a very interesting listen.
Yeah, I would like to listen to that as well.
Having listened to this, I would say about 3 times now, and I think it came out a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It has a real sort of definitely like psychedelic feel to it, but a very like trancy, deep psychedelic feel.
That's what I said. Kind of like dark new age in a way. Yeah. Like if
you dropped a couple of hits, man, you might learn some stuff.
Oh yeah, about yourself and the world.
Not that we're
large.
Endorsing that here on the Scratch a Track podcast presented
by the Dude and Grim Show. I really like the cover too.
I don't even. Oh yeah, no, I did look at the color. Yeah,
it's so it looks like a glass sphere that's half filled with water, or maybe it's not at all. But it's just the way the reflection kind of splits.
Well, it's like I have one of those. I think it's sitting on. Looks like a bed of grass, and it might be actually at the edge of a river. So I have one of those like sphere balls for like photography, and that's kind of like a thing where people will put it in front of like an awesome object, like it did with the Golden Gate Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge, and it flips everything upside down. and then you focus on that and shoot through it. Anyways.
Whoa, that's
it's
cool. So it's a solid ball though.
Yeah, it's like a solid.
So by
ball.
shooting it like that, it's interesting because it's like both.
It inverts everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but you kind of like splits in half. I mean, it's like both ours will just keep it at my house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, again, going back to just my initial impression of it, when I first put it on, I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
WTF. Pretty much like, what's going on here?
But not WTF-ITS.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
But the more I got into it and got through it, I could tell that, the production is great. They're really good musicians. I like, a lot of the layering of sound, and kind of like you were saying, talking about it being electronica. Yeah. Okay. I'll give it that. There's definitely some weird background noises and sounds, but then it does have, I think there's acoustic you hear in it. You hear some electric guitar. The one of the songs that sort of stood out to me was The Question Is to See It All. Because it starts like with some acoustic and strange percussion sounds, but then it's got these analog tape effects, which I was like, wow, that's pretty trippy, man. I know you always kind of dig that. I mean,
I do.
I imagine this was, I mean, again, I have no idea. So if anybody has background on this, I imagine this was probably done digitally and those effects were done through plugins, but I have no basis for saying that. But even listening to that song, dude, the vocals like move in and out. So the production itself, not just the you could listen to it in mono and be like, wow, this is trippy. But listening to it in stereo and stuff,
headphones,
the way things are moving, with lots of layers. So I'll tell you what, if you want to kick back at the end of a long, hard day and just kind of chill out, if you know what I mean, and put some headphones on, like you have a real good time with this one.
Oh yeah, you would. And it was kind of interesting reading about how the two joined up. I guess they were part of another group and they kind of just started working on their own stuff.
The originals.
And then they,
the regulars.
And that name was already taken. So
every time
they went, So I read a little story about it where they were working on something on a laptop in a hotel room in Germany, and like the adapter blew up and kind of like started smoking. So they just sat out in the hall with the laptop and finished it. Dude,
that's awesome.
That was a cool story.
Wow.
But I want to listen to their other stuff, like definitely the album Psychic, which came out now 7 years ago. But I would just, after hearing this, I'm interested as to what their other music sounds like, because this is something that I will definitely continue to listen to. It's just it is one of the most unique records I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't think it's certainly not for like everybody listening,
or everybody.
It's not for everybody and every day. But the interesting thing is, this is the first album they put out, because Psychic was 2013, and then they just took a break. They said, they're coming to an end for now, and then so last December they released the first single from this album, Liberty Bell, which usually, once you release the first single,
there's an expectation,
but then they released this about 6 or 7 months later.
They're really, really kind of just building anticipation for it. Another thing that I was going to say is they did a lot of stuff during a week-long jam session somewhere in New Jersey. Says Fleming. During the summer in Flemington, New Jersey. And then it said it would take another year and a half. That was in 2018 for the album to like coalesce completely. I would really like to hear what their jam sessions sound
Those
like.
Sessions were like.
Because if this is what came out of it, I think they must have went into some weird territory, but I'm interested.
Definitely. Yeah,
and I'd like to see what kind of instruments they had and what they were, because some of that stuff I wonder, are those some of those acoustic instruments? Are they playing those? Are those samples from? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if you do,
let us know below. Would you like subscribe, and comment below?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, essentially, we're just gonna have to wait for the super deluxe Uber edition of this album to come out. It would also be trippy. I mean, it sounds like they play live and whatnot. It'd be pretty cool to see them, see this album performed live.
Yeah.
Like how exactly they would go about doing it, what instruments they play as kind of the creators, and then I imagine they would have other people playing with them. I mean, you could have
or manipulation of samples. Who knows?
Yeah. So if you guys have seen them live, definitely let us know below kind of their setup and what they're like. After this, I'm gonna definitely want to check out some YouTube videos, see if they have any live shows on there or whatnot. But I'd also like to, like you were saying, check out their previous album, Psychic, and see how close it is to this.
Yes,
that would be pretty cool. So I don't know, man. I've listened to this about 3 or 4 times now, and it's probably not every day listening for me. But if you're into psychedelic music, if you're into King Gizzard, The Flaming Lips, if you like Pink Floyd, I highly recommend.
Probably like Ummagumma era Pink.
Yeah, Obscured by Clouds ish, that kind of stuff. I mean,
there's real songs on that album.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are. Metal.
So what's your scratch? No, I'm kidding. But do you have a favorite?
I don't.
Just from listening to it, did anyone?
Yeah, it's weird. I can't say anything stood out because when I just put this on, man, not to say that, and I have this with King Gizzard albums. A lot of times I'm like, oh, I don't know where this track ends and this one begins. And not to say that this one seemed to flow.
Like Gondwana Land.
Exactly. This one seemed to flow very well.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, all the songs are, the shortest song is Liberty Bell at 4 minutes. Everything else is pretty much like 5 minutes and up. So it's not like they have some short little pop bubblegum singles or anything like that. So I need to give it a few more listens before I can really say like I have a favorite song, because when I was listening to it, I kind of wasn't sitting down listening to the track list and stuff.
I'll give you that. I was in a position where I was listening to it where anytime I felt like there was a very noticeable change, I would look just to see what the song was.
Track list.
I did. The Limit kind of stood out to me because the intro song Narrow Road is so like long, and it seems like it's going to end several times, and then something will come back in. But then when the Limit, when the Limit starts, I think it's kind of noticeable because there's just a more distinct musical shift from like the. I guess I would consider Narrow Road. I mean, it's its own song, but it's kind of like a really long intro to what's going to happen.
Definitely is. It's just setting the stage for the next, 47, 46 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I am not disappointed by. It's not like, hey, give me that time back. I was like, wow. I mean, I think I put it on like right again. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll check it out. So, all right. Well, I think that about wraps it up here, Grim. Definitely, if any of you have checked this out, let us know what you think below and what you think about their first album. How does it compare? Do you like the progression and direction this band is going in? I mean, there was about a 7-year hiatus.
Yeah.
So, and if you guys seen these guys live, let us know what their setup is like.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty badass. So, all right. More first impressions on the way, but Wednesday, we got a full album coming up. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure
it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. All right. Time to go. The Dude and
Grim Show. Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by Moore and the Tims. Copyright 2021. The Dude and Grim Show.